when it purrs to life, I'm going to look over at Grid Runner and I'm going to say, how's it going to feel deep down in your man bits when I drive this car better than you could ever hope to?
I'm going to get out of the car and get back in mine.
Oh, come on.
Nope, it's already done.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Percentile Vice, where we suck at cues. And by we, I mean me mostly. I'm Steve. You can find me on Twitter at Rick Stevens. This is Percentile Vice, and we are playing Savage Worlds Street Wolves.
You have to.
Street Wolves. I am joined tonight by...
I'm Emily. I am playing Foxtail. You can find me on Twitter at Cthulhu's_watch.
I'm Grid Runner. I'm a driver. I'm a winner. Things are gonna change. I can feel it.
Did you just like alpha male yourself? Just like...
He was popping his collar.
Oh,
the
it
jacket
sounded like so forceful, like you were just like,
No, I could. Does that make you happy?
Yeah, Table Cat Games recently released their jumpstart for Street Wolves. We are playing the adventure in there called Two of Hearts, and we're having a blast with it. You should go pick up the jumpstart and get some merch because it's cool as hell. All right, so last week you guys did a little bit of investigation. You talked to your boss. You checked out the hotel room Tracer had been staying in. You found a matchbook for a particular restaurant. You went and checked out his car. You found a duffel bag with what appeared to be clean, still had tags on it from dry cleaners' clothes thrown into the bag like they were dirty clothes. Nothing else. You went to the restaurant and you found out that several days ago he had been kicked out of that restaurant, flashing a lot of cash, a brand new Corvette, talking about a speedboat he owned.
right.
And piecing a bunch of stuff together, you now suspect that maybe you're not getting the straight skinny from Lady Domingo about what's going on. So why don't you two take the scene for a minute and have the discussion about your suspicions?
So we're hearing a lot of conflicting stories. You know, Lady Domingo is saying that, you know, Tracer's been taken by the Cabal of Shadows and that we have to kill her dad in order to get him back. But somebody called the secure line to the Street Wolves. It sounded a lot like her to me, and I'm very good with the language. Called to say that the drug cartel had taken him. And then on top of that, his room was never checked out, but he had packed all of his bags and put them in his car. So it doesn't make sense to have not checked out. And all his clothes are clean, but thrown in his duffel bag made to look like they were packed in a hurry. And it doesn't quite add up.
You're right.
I'm sorry, I can't. With your accent. Did I miss anything?
You had Cabal of Shadows and the other one switched around. She told us the drug cartel had taken him. She told the 0 Point that the Cabal had taken him.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay.
Yeah. So that leads us to believe. Oh, we also found out from Bookworm that he had a new girl in his life. And judging by the flashy Corvette and all that stuff, money that he really can't, possibly have on our pay salary, that he is probably dating somebody pretty wealthy, like Lady Domingo. So.
I wonder if she's taking applications for sugar babies.
Is it just about the Corvette?
A little.
Yeah.
All right, you both have three
bennies.
bennies to start off the game. And John, I'm going to give you a benny for it's a little bit about the Corvette. So you've got 4 bennies. I told you last week that one of the things I wanted to do as we play through Street Wolves and we're experiencing Savage Worlds for the first time as a game system is let's do a character advancement.
Yeah.
Right? So you guys are currently at advancement 4, which makes you rank of seasoned. And you'll see on the right-hand side of your character sheet, the ranks are novice, seasoned, veteran, heroic, and legendary. And I put an X, a couple X's by where your pre-gen characters started off. So when you advance now, you're going to move to rank 5, which is halfway through, advancement 5, which is halfway through the seasoned rank.
Right.
So what you can also do in that spot is write down what you're about to get out of your advancement. So advancements let your characters do one of the following things every time you advance. 1, you could gain a brand new edge.
Okay.
2, you could increase a skill that you currently have that is equal to or greater than its linked attribute, 1 die type. So if your skill is a D6 and the attribute it's linked to is a D6, then as this advancement, you could improve 1 skill like that. Or you could increase 2 skills that are lower than their linked attribute type.
Okay.
Okay, you could increase them all each by 1 die type. You could increase one of your attributes by 1 die type. But you can only do that once per rank. So if you do it now, it ranks 6 and 7, you won't be able to do it. You'd have to wait until
I got you.
Until you hit, advancement 6 and 7, you couldn't do it. You have to wait until you hit the new rank of veteran.
Yeah, I thought that's what the V stood for, but I wasn't sure.
The other thing that you can do is permanently remove a minor hindrance or reduce a major hindrance to a minor. And that's all done with GM permission, if it makes sense, right? And if you wanted to, you could actually save up an advancement till the next time and have 2 to completely wipe out a major hindrance at one time.
Gotcha.
So for purposes of playing this game, I'm going to put a little bit of restriction on here. I don't want you guys removing hindrances.
Gotcha.
You've only got a couple, and I just like the way they're playing out, and I want to role play that kind of stuff. So I'm taking that one off the table.
Okay.
So you could gain a new edge, which is a good thing, but I advise against it because the level of reading that would be required right now just doesn't fit well into a streamed episode. Or you could increase a skill that's as advanced as its attribute, or 2 skills that are lower than its attribute, or increase one of your attributes at die size.
I got you.
Emily, what are you thinking for Foxtail?
So I was thinking about increasing one of my skills.
And if you guys have a plan of what you're about to do next, you might think, what skills might I use in that plan? Maybe I ought to beef those up a little.
Right. So, like, stealth. What attribute is that connected to? agility, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Stealth is tied to agility. So
My agility is a D8.
and what is your stealth?
My stealth is a D6.
So you could increase the stealth to a D8.
And since it's under, I could also find one more that is...
That's correct.
And do it as well. So I think I want to do that. I move my stealth up to a D8 so that I have a little better roll on that. So I am going to stay with stealth and thievery because I already get a bonus to trade craft through some of my stuff.
Cool. So now you're a little bit better in stealth and thievery, and those now are both equal to your agility die type?
Yes, D8s.
Cool. So the next time you wanted to increase those, then you could only do one.
Gotcha.
Or your next advancement, you could increase your agility die type.
Which would let me then move all the others.
Anything attached to it, you can move up. So it might
there's some
strategy in how you build that.
Yeah.
So, Grid Runner, I've seen you over there. Just
I did stealth and boating.
stealth and boating.
Why did you make boating?
Homie got a speedboat. I'm gonna drive that.
Cool. All right, so you guys are in the Romorian. You're on a road just down from the restaurant where you stopped and you made a call then to
0 point.
0 Point, where you found out about the old mission back in April that Tracer had been on, that gone to hell, and everybody but him. And what was her name?
Bookworm.
Bookworm had died. And you found out Bookworm was currently in a facility healing and getting better. You called up to her and you got some information from her. So
We also went to the recording studio.
Did you met Kimberly Tiffin?
we met Kimberly Tiffany.
Who also told us that Lady Domingo had a new man in her life.
So you got Kimberly Tiffany telling you Lady D's got a new man in her life, and you got Bookworm telling you that Tracer said he had met somebody and he was in love.
Mm-hmm. And he got a red Corvette out of it, and if that doesn't scream drug cartel, I don't know what does. Just saying.
Yeah. Black SUV.
Yeah, but this is like Miami.
This is the 80s.
You can get the red Corvette.
You're right. Red Corvette. T-tops.
T-tops.
All right. So what would y'all like to do? I'm going to say after the trip to the recording studio and making your call and having discussions, you got to the restaurant like at 9:30 or 10. So I'm going to say it's probably about noon. The hot Miami sun is beating down on all the white stuccoed buildings. It's very bright in this city, a different kind of bright than you get from the vapors and the neon at night. But yeah, gentlemen in Cuban shirts and linen suits walking by, women scantily dressed in cool, breezy outfits.
Old ladies who look like
The city is
handbags.
starting to come to life. Miami stays up late and gets up late. It's
Yeah.
just starting to come to life.
Okay. So we want to go try to do some surveillance on Lady Domingo. So how do we want to do that around her private residence that's very well guarded?
Here's the ticket. You hotwire her boat. I'll drive it away. And while they're trying to track me down and chase me down with her slower boat, you go in, have a look at the place.
Except for I don't think she has a waterfront property.
Of course she does. This is Miami. She's rich.
No, her dad lives on an island. She lives in a very nice neighborhood.
On the water.
Not on the water.
I'm gonna use a Benny.
For it to be on the water.
Okay, use a penny. It's on the water. Of course, it was Grid Runner. I'm not Grid Runner. It was Tracer who had the boat.
Yeah, but if he does have a boat, he bought it with her money.
Right.
He just wants to drive the boat. So, how are we going to do surveillance on her house?
Do I need to say it slower?
There's no boat.
You hot wire the boat. I drive the boat.
Do you have a thievery skill there, Grid Runner?
No, that's why she has to hot wire.
It's just odd that I'm the driver, is like,
Mine's at a D.
hey, could you start this car for me? You
turn it on. It's at a D6. What did yours do?
D8 now.
So,
Remember me?
So you remember from going up to the house, right? That it was a quiet street in a suburban area, but very ritzy. There was a wall around her compound, all the way around her compound. So there's no beach access to attack her from. But I can let it be on the beach, and there's a gate in the back. Get your Benny back in. I just forgotten about the walled compound, right?
Right.
Big, tall trees and everything. And the street is, except for the opulence of the houses around there, the street is much like any other street. There's the big wrought iron gates that you had to pull up to and a intercom thing. So, I mean, you could probably get to her neighborhood and near her house without, like, being accosted or shot at. You seem to be thinking it's like this.
No, I'm
fortress
just
or something.
trying to figure out how we stand
repaint
around.
the picture for you.
No, I was trying to figure out how we stand around without, like, standing out. You know?
In a car?
In the car that you drove up in.
Yeah.
The very fancy Remorian.
I mean, they're not very smart. They showed us a Polaroid with dude covered in ketchup.
You don't know that. To you, it looked okay. Maybe a little weird. Maybe he just has an ugly face.
So, you're a fashionista, right?
No.
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 Are you sure?
I'm sure. I can blend into a crowd, but I need a crowd.
Okay.
We can get a rental car and park on the street. We can pose as lawn care workers and trim the hedges out front.
Now we're getting some serious tropes from movies. I like it. So hotwire a van, a white panel van.
Yeah. I'm going to need bubble gum and a paperclip.
Right.
Hey, there was one of those food delivery vans at the restaurant.
Yeah. Wouldn't really fit into a suburban area.
Yeah, it would. Drug dealers get catering all the time. Do you think she cooks?
Or they have huge kitchen staff. Yeah.
You think Mama Domingo's in the grocery store
No. How do you want to do this?
using her Kroger Plus?
How do you want to do this?
How do you want to do it?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know how we surveil the house without being like just standing on her front porch like, what you doing?
Well, what kind of skills do you have, Em?
Well, I have the ability to blend into a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I need a crowd for that.
Right.
I have a face that either makes me unremarkable or is practiced through tradecraft disguises.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
I can.
So those are edges.
Yeah.
Specific graphs for skills.
Sorry, my bad. Athletics, common knowledge, notice, persuasion, stealth, boating, driving, fighting, hacking, language, performance, shooting, thievery, and tradecraft. We can try to stealth our way through the compound, but judging by how many people she had there, I don't know that we would get very far.
You said disguises are a thing you do, right?
They are.
So we just have to figure out a way that you can get in. I can hide in the back of the van or whatever.
So you guys do realize that surveillance and infiltration
Yes.
are two different things.
He keeps trying to talk about going in. I just want to watch it, but
I
I
thought
can't.
you were just talking about going.
No, you asked me what skills I had. I'm just saying what I had. That I have the
To
option to do
rewind the
it.
tape, you talked about going in.
Yeah, I have the option to. I don't want to. I also don't want to hotwire a boat.
Make a notice roll.
Notice D6. 5.
Okay, so you remember that this area was so nice that it did not have above ground power and telephone lines. So they're obviously buried, but every half block or so you could find, there was the little raised
Meter things.
and
Like the
box of stuff. I'm not smart enough on those things. So that's there. Tradecraft probably could get you into some bugging situations. Your hacking might have some ability there, but it's a little iffy.
So we could pose as the...
Or you could just park across the street and grab some binoculars and check out the house.
So that's our options. We can either try to pose as somebody, maybe try to tap the lines, or get another car, park across the street.
We find a telephone company uniform for you. You go tap the line. We hear what is going on because they're going to be getting ready soon to go to the highlight match.
They're not going to the highlight match.
Are they?
No, it's where
Dad's
Dad is.
Going to the highlight match, and that's where he's going to meet with the Cabal of Shadows.
Highlight is big. I would have figured they all would have went.
No.
Even if she had her in a different box.
No.
But we know he's in her box.
Yes. Let's just go get a car and park across the street and watch the house for a little bit.
Okay.
Do you want to steal a car or do you want to rent a car?
Let's steal a car.
Okay.
You are aware of where there's a car not currently being used?
His car.
A maroon Plymouth or Reliant K.
Do you want to go take Tracer's car?
Most of the time, those things don't crank with the keys.
Did I mention I used to have a Reliant?
What do we see nearby?
All right, so you guys are still kind of in the downtown area. There's a lot of stuff nearby. You could find something that looks like a work van. You could find just an nondescript sedan. There are clothing stores nearby, secondhand clothing stores nearby. So
Are there any
you're in a
power?
good area of town to find just about anything you might need that you don't currently own.
Are there any power or telephone vans nearby?
Make a luck roll. I've instituted the luck roll in Sweat. Make a luck roll. And
What's my look at?
we're just going
50-50.
50. It's 50-50. Either it is or it isn't. So roll under 50 on a percentile dice. It's the 10.
You roll a 13.
Okay, there is a cable van parked nearby at a local restaurant. There's the driver and or crew must be in there having lunch.
Can I spend a penny to make it have a spare uniform in it?
You don't... You can do that with your bennies?
Yeah, that's one of the things that Paul Vincent pointed out in the comments to one of our videos that I had forgotten from reading the Savage World Suede Adventures Edition, is that one thing you can do with your bennies is alter the story a little bit. And so you can use a benny to change things
that's cool.
around a little bit.
I thought he was over here being a jackass.
No.
I apologize. I retract it. All right, so let's see if we can steal this van.
All right.
I'm going to try to steal this van.
All right.
Do you know the rules on supporting? Is that only a combat thing?
No, I believe you can sort. So what skill would you like to use to support her?
Thievery.
All right. So you make a thievery roll. If you're successful, not you, him.
I know. That's
If you're successful at your thievery roll, then essentially you're going to add a plus to hers.
Here's a D6.
I'm going to use my dice.
You exploded.
10.
All right, so that's one with a raise. right? So Emily, you guys come up to the side of the van. You go to the side that is away from the front of the restaurant, so that you guys can kind of like let it block you from windows or anything. And it happens to be the passenger side. So you have a choice. You can either try to pick the lock of the passenger door or the sliding panel door on the side.
I'm going to pick the sliding panel door because personal knowledge tells me that those slide locks are shit and they break all the time, and I feel like they're easier.
Okay, so this time you give me a thievery roll, and you're going to be +2 on it from Grid Runner, who's standing beside you, one blocking you from street view and everything, so you feel a little more comfortable. But he probably also looked over your shoulder and said, "Hey, a little more to the left," or something like that.
All right, so I get to roll a d8 and a d6.
Make sure you're holding your mouth right.
I rolled a 7 + 2, so a 9.
A 9. So that's a success with a raise. So tell us about getting into this vehicle.
So I know that if you apply pressure to like just this one like right side kind of bottom part of the cylinder, that there's a weak spot and you can just like basically punch your way through and it actually hits the latch mechanism and pops the door without actually destroying the tumblers. It just like punctures straight through the cylinder.
Nice. So the door pops open and is now sliding on a pretty well oiled hinge. You know, sometimes you get those vans and it's like this. Cable company, pretty new here in 1987, right? You open it up and there are huge spools of really big coaxial cable, huge boxes, tools
yeah.
and implements. That's what the inside looks like. What are y'all doing?
So we're going to both hop in and shut the door.
Okay.
And then I'm going to climb into the front seat and get down and try to hotwire.
Okay, so as you're getting into the front seat, you notice that on the on the shelf that had a bunch of like converter boxes and whatnot, bookshelves. Pretty sure you heard somebody spill some Skittles
Right.
outside, so you're trying to be very quiet. But you did notice a set of overalls. You know, the work,
Right.
not overalls,
Coveralls.
but coveralls. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, so you slide into the driver's seat, and the grid runner slides into the passenger seat. And for a moment, you both just look at each other with like, this is kind of odd. So what do you do?
So I'm going to try to reach down and hotwire it using tradecraft, I think, probably. Well, or would thievery be?
I think thievery is a better option here.
Okay. So that's a D8 to roll. A 6.
Okay.
But that was only 8.
Takes you a minute, but you were able to kind of pop the plastic cover off the underside of the dash and pull out the right wires using your little toolkit. You strip a couple of wires, twist them together, and the van jumps to life. Purrs wasn't hard at all. It's a relatively new model van.
When it purrs to life, I'm going to look over at Grid Runner and I'm going to say, how's it going to feel deep down in your man bits when I drive this car better than you could ever hope to?
I'm going to get out of the car and get back in mine.
Oh, come on.
Nope, that's already done.
All right. So the Remorian has tailed a limo, and now it's going to tail
Work
a
van.
work van. Or the Remorian could go first. I won't tell y'all how to do it. But where y'all headed in 2 vehicles? I think it's really just Grid Runner is starting to fall in love with this Remorian and doesn't want to leave it anywhere.
That V6 rotary engine.
plus it's evidence, right? When they come out of the restaurant and find their
Right.
thing's gone.
It's true. I'm gonna throw on the coverall real quick, and then I guess I'm gonna head towards the house, and he can follow.
All right, so you guys drive out of the downtown area, hit I-95, go north a little bit to whatever section it was. I think I told you she was in Coral Gables.
Yes.
Go to the Coral Gables area. Are you both gonna? So the entrance to Coral Gables is like these big brick fence. It's not like a big gate, but like outside of subdivisions they have.
Yeah.
So there's this big brick wall that ties in well with the walls that are in the back of the houses that are lining that part of it. So are you both driving in there, or?
I'm gonna drive in and head for the house and park near a access box.
Okay.
I'll be a little bit off, but nearby.
Okay, so you find an access box that's on the opposite side of the street from Lady D's house. And you kind of cat a corner to it so you can kind of see over there to it, but you've got it there, you parked your van there. As you're getting out, you notice there's a couple orange cones, so for effect you grab those and place one in the front and one in the back of the van, and just started getting into character. You found a little side road not too far from there. You've parked, you can see her van and the box that she's at. You have a hard time seeing Lady D's compound because there's trees, street, and a van in your way.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on my Walkman.
Okay. Just putting it on, or are you actually going to play some music?
I'm actually playing music.
Cool.
You gonna start power walking through the neighborhood?
Nope.
It'd be funnier if you did. Okay. So I'm gonna open up the thing, and see if I can actually tap them.
Sure, give me let's do a notice roll.
A 4.
Okay, so you open it up, and there is a bunch of them, but then you notice that this panel with just lines and lines of wires coming out of them, that you notice that there's a labeling system across the top, and it corresponds to house numbers. Well, you probably previously didn't know what her house number was as you were driven there. Looking at the house across the street from it, seeing a house number, you're able to figure out which phone line is going into Lady Mingo's house.
Okay. So then I would like to use, I guess, my either hacking or tradecraft. I'm not sure which one. Not sure what I'll
So I
try.
think hacking is more computer
Right.
stuff. But with tradecraft, I think you would know how to bug something, and so I'm going to send that to wiretapping. It might be a bit of a stretch for tradecraft, but it doesn't feel like that big of one to me.
No.
So you've got your toolkit and whatnot. So So
Yeah.
talk me through it. What's it look like? As Foxtail is in this slightly too big for her set of coveralls.
Well, she makes sure that, when she moves the panels and all that stuff, there's inevitably going to be, grime on them. She's going to make sure she touches her face a lot as part of her disguise to have, the greasy worker face. And find the wire, strip it back, and try to attach the tap, which I don't
Yeah, so
I don't know anything else about tapping wire.
with your toolkit. Yeah, give me a smarts roll.
Smarts. 6, 7.
Okay, so using some wire, you probably would have jumped into the van and grabbed some supplies that they had there. And you realize that you're not going to be able to like create a recording of what is said or whatnot, and that you need some way. Like you have spliced into this line. You need some way now to give yourself some audio.
I have a walkie-talkie.
All right.
Can I?
So let's see here. How about I'm going to just go with a previous tradecraft roll that you take some extra wire and connectors and whatnot from the van, and then you pop the back off of your walkie-talkie and you kind of splice the line into your walkie-talkie receiver, and you realize that you could actually push the transmit button and would allow Grid Runner to hear whatever you could hear, but you've set it up so much in such a way that you're not going to be transmitting back into the telephone lines anything that you guys say.
So then I'll take a bit of electrical tape and tape down the transmitter button so that it's constantly feeding to him, because I can't just stand there with it. And
when I hear the walkie-talkie click on, I'm going to click off my Walkman.
And I'll pretend to do some maintenance and cleaning up or whatever and watch the house. See if I see people coming and goings.
Okay. Any conversation between you and Grid Runner through the walkie-talkie?
I'm just going to let them know, like, keep your walkie turned down. I've got you tapped into the phone line, so anything that comes through, you'll hear. And I'm going to be watching the house for a little while. What are you going to be doing?
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. I assumed you would help do the surveillance.
I'm listening.
Okay, that's fine.
I could do donuts in the yard.
Just tear off the yard. Then we can pose as gardeners to fix it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so if you'll just listen in on the phone line, and I'll watch the house for a little bit as long as we can without raising suspicion.
Cars pass by. Nobody's considering much of you being out of the ordinary. You notice that there are still guards on the property, wearing their suits and their little earpieces, and occasionally one would kind of walk the front of the grounds. At some point, maybe even you hear the sound of the little girl. What was her name? Jennifer? Jessica? One of those.
Something for that effect.
Jay. Squealing in the backyard, and the voice of, you can't really make out what they're saying, but you can hear the nanny's voice as well. The limo is parked out front, and that's kind of the goings on. And how long are you planning on doing this?
30 minutes or so?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what you see. Then just normal activity, walking around there, the limo parked out front, and 30 minutes comes, and you do what?
I'm going to get on the walkie. Grid Runner, nothing's really happening here. So my options are to pack it up and go, or I can leave the wire type in place, but I can also try to mess with the cable. And
a ringing sound interrupts your conversation with him through the walkie-talkie.
Dun, dun, dun.
And after a couple rings, it's picked up, and you hear a voice on the line, and you recognize it as Lady Domingo's voice. Hello? Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
Sound like Johnny Bravo.
You getting out today? Really like to see you. Oh yeah, Bobby, we're about to go out and run some errands. But yeah, I'll just leave Jennifer here with Consuela, and yeah, I'll be by in an hour or so. And he hangs up. You do not recognize the male voice.
Okay. Would I recognize it if it had been Tracer? Like, do I know Tracer well enough to recognize his voice?
You've never met Tracer.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to be sure that's what I remembered correctly. So I'm going to leave the tap in place, but I'm going to clear off fingerprints, put it all back.
Going to remove it from your walkie-talkie, or are you going to leave your walkie-talkie in?
I'm going to leave the walkie-talkie there, but I'm going to try to clear off any fingerprints or anything of me, because just in case we need it, I don't want to have to come back. They're a drug cartel, they should do periodic checks of their phone line anyways.
And so, cool, you put it back in there, you find a way to kind of wedge it in there so it's not going to fall over, and kind of hidden, if somebody came by to actually do some work on this thing, they would really have to hunt to see that something was out of place. And you also know that you got about a 2-mile radius on these walkie-talkies.
Right.
So within 2 miles of the house, Grid Runner's walkie-talkie would still pick up any calls that come from the house. You put the panel back on, seal it all up, and yeah. What now?
I'm going to get in my van and drive around the corner, maybe go a block up from Grid Runner, so I'm out of view of the house and not park right next to him.
Okay. As you drive off, so let's say you were parked and pointing west.
Mm-hmm.
Grid Runner had stopped a little before you, and parked and was pointing south.
Right.
So you're going to have to go up and, turn down some things to come around to. So as you pull off Grid Runner, you notice that the gates of the compound slowly start to open. And the limousine is starting to pull out.
How fast are they going?
Limo, they're giving her a ride of comfort. They're not in any hurry. They're taking the turn out of the driveway very slow, minimize bouncing and all that kind of stuff.
Are they on a straight road once they turn off onto the road? I can see them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna follow the van.
You can't see the van right now.
I've pulled off and I'm making a loop around to you.
I mean, you could turn and go the way she went. Yes, that would be taking you the opposite direction of the way
That's fine.
the limo's going. All right. So what is your goal here? To catch up with her?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a drive roll.
Drive.
You make it with a +2 because you're not actively trying to avoid him.
Right.
And you're not trying to draw suspicion to yourself, so you're driving relatively slowly.
10.
Okay, right, so you...
12. You got a +2.
You pull out, so that's 2 raises. You see the limo coming out, you go ahead and start the Remorian up. You pull a quick U-turn in the place that you were at, and as the Remorian drives by, you pull out and go the opposite direction of it, and flash your lights, and within seconds, you see the Remorian behind you and the lights flashing.
I'm going to pull over and...
You want to talk to him on your walkie-talkie?
I don't have a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull over and take off the jumpsuit.
Okay.
While she does, I'm gonna put my headphones back on because I'm tired of hearing her talk.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Jumping into the Remorian?
Yeah, I feel like it's very smooth. Like pull over and like as I'm getting out of the car, drop it, and then he pulls up behind me, and I just like step in. Like it's probably really sexy.
Okay, so Grid Runner, you're following the limo. No role involved here yet because it's the limo driving slowly.
Like a boat, one would say.
So I'm gonna be making an effort while they are on straight roads to occasionally, if I know the roads are like boxy, I'm gonna take a side road where I can still kind of pop out and see where they are since they're going so slow.
Okay. So, yeah, give me a drive roll then. And you got your
Driver stealth. They're the same.
Yeah. I want to do the drive roll.
7.
Doesn't you? Do you get something because of...
Your headphones?
Or getaway driver or into the groove?
If it's a change position, evade, or flee maneuvers during a chase, or similar actions in a dramatic task.
I would call this a similar action.
I would say
dramatic
similar.
Test. So I'll let you use a getaway driver.
So re-roll the 7. So it's a free driving re-roll.
You don't have to though. If you want to keep the 7, you can only
Can
get
I
1
keep
point
the
back.
7 either way?
Yes. So you're going to get the highest of the 2 rolls.
That one's a 4.
But you'd re-roll the
The
wild dice as well.
5.
7 total.
So you got a 7. All right. So you're able to pull it off. The limo's taking pretty straight path. You know, right turns where necessary, but gridded out streets. You kind of get a feeling like you see it up ahead of you getting ready to make a left turn. You turn earlier. Another road left and zip up a little bit and come out on the side road just in time to see the limo slowly go by and you pull out. So you're doing that all the way through. So it seriously diminishes the opportunity that anybody in that limo is going to say, oh, we're being followed.
Okay.
Both of you roll me a notice check.
What kind?
A notice check?
Is it sound related?
Oh, no, it's sight related. I forgot you got your headphones on.
I rolled double 1s.
That is a critical failure that you cannot use bennies on, by the way. I don't know if I ever told you
No,
that.
but I kind of.
10.
Luckily, the
Okay,
driver's.
one of the first time the limo passes by, as you kind of cut through and came out perpendicular to it, and you watched it drive by, you notice that the limo driver is dressed like and built like the guards that you'd seen at her house the night before. You notice that there is a second one in the front seat with them. And it's kind of tough to tell because of the tint on the windows, but you believe it's just her in the back seat.
Hey, big guy's driving. He's got a friend.
Good. You got eyes on Domingo? It's too bright. I can't see anything. I should have brought Sage. I should.
Literally, I can't see any.
Yeah, I should have got some sunglasses like you got.
I think so, but I'm not sure. Can't really see back there.
The tint's pretty insane.
So
Maybe legal.
you follow for a little while. Eventually, they stop at a business office. You see one of the guys get out, open the door for her. She steps out with like a briefcase in her hand. One of them escorts her into the business building, and one stays with the limo, and it is parked right in front of the door, like blocking a big chunk of the parking lot, like they just don't.
Like own the place.
Big car don't care. And they walk in, and about 5 minutes later, she comes back out with the guy. Give me another notice check. You can do it too if you want. Get the glares out of your eyes.
5.
8.
And both of you notice that she is still carrying a briefcase. It's not quite the same one. It's almost close, but almost black and almost dark brown. Like,
What is the business? Does it have a sign?
yeah. J. Delacruz, CPA. They get in and they drive off.
Gonna keep going.
A couple more stops along the way. No more weird briefcase swaps or whatnot. But it appears that she is just making some errand type, probably related to the family business. Everyone is short and sweet. Like, she goes in and gets something, drops something off, says something, is told something, whatever, but it's not a big, long meeting.
Right.
And after about an hour of these little stops, then the limo starts heading north, kind of outside Miami proper, I-95. It eventually takes an exit to the exit sign says Miami Beach, and follow back into another subdivision, pretty nice subdivision, nowhere near the level of hers, and the limo parks on the street. The driveway is not sufficient
Right.
for this limo, but she gets out. One of the guys gets out with her, and they walk up to the house, enter the house without knocking, and the other guy rolls the window way down on the limo, lights up a cigarette,
Takes the free break when the boss ain't looking.
turns the music on, maybe reclines the seat a little bit, just chilling.
Reclines the seat enough that we can't see him anymore.
No.
Just a bit.
Just
Does the
enough.
house have a carport
He
or
reclined a lot more, but there's this like panel wall between
Right.
him and the back. And it
Perhaps
keeps
the
seat
screen.
from going too far back.
does the house have a garage or a carport?
The house has a 2-car garage. Both bays are closed, and there are cars parked out in front of each of the closed bays.
Would either of them happen to be a red Corvette?
One of them is a red Corvette. The other is
A speedboat.
An ambassador.
Oh.
the other one is. I'm going to get this right because,
It's important.
well, Tablecat Games made a point of saying exactly what the car was, and so
Thunderbird.
I started trying to make up fan art of a Remorian. I haven't gotten
That
very
would be
far,
bad.
but I have been trying. But I am not artistic by any means.
it's a Mercedes 560 SEC.
Oh,
It's pretty high class. And equipped. Right?
Top of the line.
It's comfort, but you know there's power in there too.
he's looking at the tailpipe like, damn.
So this house has a shrub hedge all the way around it, or at least on 3 sides, and from the street you can't see, but you know you're close to water. And again, she walks inside, closes the door. The guard stays outside on the front porch and just takes up a casual position on the front porch. Our street wolves are currently parked in a residential area in Coral Gables, right?
That's where she lives.
Miami Beach.
Miami Beach.
And have followed Lady Domingo's limousine to this 2-story house with an attached 2-car garage, hedged surrounding the entire property. You can hear the ocean nearby. And Lady Domingo has gone inside. Her bodyguard is left on the porch, and another one is still in the limousine. You notice 2 cars sitting in the parking lot, a Mercedes 560 SEL.
SEC.
SEC. It's the better one.
Right. The L is like...
it's like...
It doesn't come with the
They're
letter.
trying to appeal to the middle-income market. Yeah, the resale value is crap on those things. Not like a Remorian.
No. Those just hold and hold and hold.
There was also, notably, a brand new chrome shining candy apple red with the T-tops removed.
Metallic flake.
1987 Corvette. Gleaming in the crushed shell driveway of this house. I know.
I hate those.
It just seemed appropriate.
It does, but I hate them.
It's like, you guys are rich. Pay the damn Grid Runner, give me a notice check. It's a funny thing about Remorians. They've got a very European vibe to them, and they only have a side view mirror on the driver's side.
Which is, good for them, but here in the States.
Which is why you don't get a notice roll.
Right.
Benny time.
Benny. Oh, Benny.
Banana.
Oh, Benny.
Me, my.
Benny.
You see, walking down the sidewalk on your side of the street, pretty well, he's a fit guy. He's wearing some long shorts. He's got a mesh tank top on.
So they're probably board shorts.
Board shorts.
I'm not sure if they called them that in the 80s. That's why I didn't say it. But sure, board shorts and mesh tank top and a guitar case. And some flip-floppy things on his feet.
Sounds like a douchebag.
Whistling along as he goes, and he comes and he's about to walk past your car, and he stops. And reaches over and did it in my hand because I know you'd kill me if I did it on the table.
As long as it's appropriate
sound effect,
context. Yeah.
And he raps on your window.
I'll crack the window a little bit with my hand crank. What do you want?
Oh,
Sup?
Grid Runner. Foxtail. What's going on? Yeah, call me Battery. Boss sent me. A little concerned about your earlier call, so talked about Kabbalah shadows and drug cartels. He thought maybe, tell you the truth, I think he's still a little spooked over the last mission that kind of got fucked up, and he wanted to find himself in that spot again. So, like, here I am, man, and it's all cool, right?
Yeah.
I can tell by the look on your face, you're wondering how the hell I found you.
Yeah.
Well, trusty rental cars that rent you just fine, Remorian, sweet, man. You have to let me drive it. Just
Good
once.
luck with that.
They low jack all their cars. And it was pretty short order for the wolves to hack into the system and get a beat on you. If the boss wants to know where you're at, he's going to know where you're at. wouldn't be surprised if your walkie-talkie's got something in them too. But anyway, call went out. Here I am, cuz when when the boss says jump, I say I slide on over.
I'm going to, without him being able to hear, lean over to Foxtail. We need to knock him out, tie him up, and put him in the trunk.
Right, you're gonna make a stealth roll opposed by his notice roll.
Okay.
I think what's great, you couldn't see it, but like his face left his frame on the stream and just entered mine. It was perfection. They just really sold it for me.
7.
Ooh.
5. He did not hear you say it.
What proof do you have that you were sent by the boss?
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. Don't trust me? Be a lot cooler if you did.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
You know.
I wish I'd have played that.
So he pulls out a pager and he pushes a couple buttons on it. Looks back. Looks at you. Pretty nice day, man. And about 15 seconds later, both your pagers go off, and it's a texted message from
0 point.
0 point. Just quit being hard asses. That's all it says.
It's kind of our job. So, you want to let him in, or we want to look like we're doing a drug deal out here on the side of the road? I mean, either one works. I just don't know if there's like territory wars going on.
Memorian's a 2-door car.
Okay, well,
Is it a 2-seater?
It is a 2-seater.
It's cool, man. I'll stay out here.
So, what's your specialty there, Battery?
Yeah,
Not a soul.
do what needs to be done. I guess you could say maybe a bit of a musician. I make sweet music. And then he pulls up his guitar case and he flips a couple things and he opens the guitar case just enough for you to see a M60 machine gun. This is a big old Rambo, hold it with both hands, big chain thing. There's a couple big drums in there.
I love him.
It's like, it's one of those things, got it all tuned up, ready for a gig, you know what I'm saying?
Whoa. Chill out, Terminator. There's no need for that. We're just here to bring in Tracer.
Feeling a little inadequate there?
Like I said, the boss got a little yippy about things when he heard, drug cartels and Cabal of Shadows, you guys was getting mixed up in, and his last crew, he lost 4 people, man. I said, boss, chill, they got it. They're wolves, man. And he said, get your ass down there. And the boss says, jump. I say, and I'll just slide on over.
So, that's great. So we're just tailing somebody right now. I don't really know what you can do to be of help right this moment.
That's cool. I got my vehicle just down the street. Didn't want to scare you by, like driving all up on you, but it's pretty cool. She down there ain't got no top. Got one of the fabric. I think they call them bimini tops, but I like to call it a bikini top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Smooth, rides on the beach like crazy, and there's an access road right down here, but I'm close by. I got company walkie-talkie. I'm gonna go hit the sand, man.
Hey,
Holler at me if you need me.
You said that there's a access road. Does it run behind these houses?
Well, it's down here at the end of the block now. I can get from there onto the beach. It looks like all these houses got a little bit of beach access, so I guess you could get down onto the beach and then drive up that way, depending on how private the beaches are, But I know down there at the end, it's like public boat ramp, and everybody can do what they want. But
you go check it out for us back at the house, see if you can see back there, see if he's got maybe a speedboat.
Cool, man.
Just kind of tail us around the back.
Right. So hey, if you guys are gonna leave, just hit me up before you get out of range, so I'm not down here the whole day waiting on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got you, man.
Cool, man. Hey, I'm going to be driving right by here. You got to check out my bikini, baby.
Oh, I will.
Right,
I'm looking
so
forward to seeing its top.
he walks by with absolutely not a care in the world. He's got a strut that seems to musically go along with the flip and the flop of his shoes.
I wish I played battery. Amazing.
So he disappears, and I don't know, a couple minutes later, you see kind of a tan.
Like the Sahara color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the best paint job in the world. You know, like maybe it was hand done with a rattle can. But by there's like there's a peace sign painted with rainbow colors
Nice.
on the side of his door. It looks like it was hand done too. By not the most professional of artists, but it's got a certain vibe to it. And he goes driving by, and he's got one hand up on the steering wheel. Sunglasses are now on, and as he drives by, he just kind of leans his head back and looks over at you and just gives a nod. Like, be a lot cooler if you did. And he goes down, and there's, I don't know, a quarter mile down the road, you see him make a right and disappear.
Okay. So is Lady Domingo still in the house?
Yeah. In fact, it looks like both the driver and the guard on the porch have settled in for the long haul.
Okay.
Good thing we sent the help off, huh?
You were gonna kill him or like gag him.
Well, when I didn't know
He was going to take this dude, bind him, gag him, and put him in the trunk of the Remorian, which is not only 2 doors, it's only a 2-seater. So how big?
How big could the trunk be?
in the front.
I was about to say it's probably a front
So rear engine Remorian.
rotary V6 rear engine.
With a snorkel, so we could go
Rear
in the
engine,
water.
front wheel drive.
They're just like this giant like mound in the middle of the car going straight through between me and him. It's like this tall.
Drive shaft going from the back to the front of the car. It's a thing. It's beautiful engineering.
The fact that they made it all work together is what's really just astounding.
It's a British car made in Germany.
I've got one of those.
So we can hang out, watch for a minute, check in on the radio with Battery here in a little while, see if he puts an eye on that speedboat or anything along the back of the house. Unless there's something else you think we should do.
Okay, so you guys, give me a stealth roll from both of you, or one of you could try to help the other one out. In fact, I think Emily, you make the help roll. John's the driver. So Harry parks the car. Does he move it every now and then?
Right. I rolled a 5.
All right, so now you're going to get +2 on this roll.
Completely missed. Twice he exploded.
14.
+2.
You thought about moving the car a little bit this way or that way, parking in slightly different places because you might be here for a long stakeout. When you realize that by looking around that not only did the upgrade get you the Remorian, but it got you the Remorian with all the options. So you reach down right underneath the dashboard and close to the center console and flick the cloaking device switch. And your time is spent there. Neither the bodyguards, anybody in the house, or in the neighborhood.
We're not even sure we're in a car.
Is drawing attention to you. Hey, man. You guys still chilling?
You did it first. I was like, what? And then I realized it was the bed of the walking
Right. Yeah, man, it's called role playing, but
I know.
it's right sometimes. I said, hey, man, you guys still chilling?
Yeah. What'd you find out?
I mean, couldn't bring the Jeep down here. Had to leave it behind. But, I'm just taking a leisurely little stroll down the beach. Not many people down here. I think they might be private beaches, but until somebody kicks me off, I'm going to keep walking. I'm about 100 yards from behind the house you guys are looking at. Looks pretty barren. Like I said, not too many people on a beautiful day. Where's everybody at? Man, we should be enjoying this. Like them wave runners and that speedboat right behind your houses. That could be a hell of a time today.
All right, well, come on back whenever.
Yeah, when you need me, holler, but otherwise, cool breeze and warm sand, I'm just going to sink my toes for a minute,
All right.
So we have confirmation on a speedboat, some wave runners. I think there was something said about some wave runners, but I can't remember exactly. And a red Corvette. I think now it's just a waiting game for either her to leave or him to come out.
Speedboats are probably fairly common down there at this point in time. The red Corvette is a little less.
To have both at a place where she's meeting some guy who calls her baby.
I mean, the sugar mama has a lot of babies usually.
Possibly. But it'd be kind of crass of her to buy them all a little red Corvette. Like, get some a blue one.
Maybe she got a deal.
She bought them in bulk.
It's the bundle.
The bundle. So we're going to hang out and give it some time. See what shakes loose.
All right, give me a notice roll. Yeah, I don't want a notice roll. I want luck rolls.
Okay. What are we rolling against?
50.
50?
72.
91.
There's a point where one of the curtains in the upstairs, one of the upstairs windows, brushes for a second, and you see the shoulder and the back of the head of a man. And you kind of squint your eyes and peer in a little bit, hoping to get a glimpse of the face, but it doesn't happen. But you do see her right behind him through the window.
We're still waiting.
Okay. Now give me notice roll.
Eight.
Is it sound?
No.
1 explode, 2 explode.
16.
16.
Wow, so that's a success and 3 raises.
Wasting all the good ones here.
All right, so after a while, you see from around the back of the house another guy dressed in a suit. At his side and held tightly to his side, so most people probably wouldn't have noticed it, but you certainly did, is an Uzi. And he walks by, you can see that words are exchanged between him and the dude on the porch. The dude on the porch kind of goes, he gets up, steps down off the porch. The guy that came from the back walks up on the porch, takes his spot in the rocking chair and chills for a little bit. And the guy who's on the rocking chair on the porch starts to make his way around the house. But with that roll, over a course of about an hour, that there's 2 additional guys. So the 2 that came with her, one in the limo, one on the porch, and 2 guys who were kind of patrolling the grounds, and one of those guys patrolling the grounds just guilted the other one into getting off his ass and doing some patrolling and let somebody else rest for a little bit.
Foxtail, there's 2 other guys. They're sort of patrolling, taking up spots by the door.
Okay. Well, if she ever decides to leave this booty call, that'll be 2 less, and we would at least have a shot against 2.
And he'll be asleep, so...
So, after a while, the door opens. She steps out, and she has a tray of lemonade glasses. And she says something to the guy there, says something to the glass on the table that's on the porch. She goes back inside. That guy gets a tray here, and or see him kind of do this and talk a little bit. And one by one, each of them make their rounds up there and get a glass of lemonade. The dude from the limo, you see him go, says something, but it looks like he just declined a glass of lemonade. Like, you don't want to go anywhere up near the house because that seems like more work.
Right.
Go up there, somebody might convince them that, it's their turn to sit in the limo.
Right.
Which has been running this whole time.
Eat no gas.
And blowing air conditioning.
Whew. Okay. How long are we willing to...
She doesn't live here.
It's true. She gotta come out eventually, hopefully. She got a kid back home.
Gonna get on the walkie.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah,
Bagger Man. Come hang out around the property line. Might have some action soon.
Man, okay, but hey, look, dude, I just want to tell you, I made it, had to get a closer look at them wave runners and the bitch and paint scheme on these things, man. It's like this, like the hole is purple, but then this like bright yellow streak, kind of like lightning bolts down the side, man. These things are badass. But while I was looking at that, I noticed that, there's a guy in the house with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks kind of familiar. I've seen this guy somewhere before. I just can't put a finger on it. You know what I mean, man? But yeah, hey, you run into everybody's got hangers and whatnot, but I'd probably party with him sometime. I don't know. But hey, so you want me to come back? Is that what you said?
Yeah. He might look familiar if you've seen Tampa Vice. You know that adult movie?
Oh, no, man. I get all the advice I need in my own bedroom.
Well, yeah, he does too.
Man, they be filming me.
Do you want to try to get him to cause a distraction on the beach so that the guards move out and we can go to the front door?
There's 4 guards. 2 people inside. We can assume that Tracer is... Wait. There's 4 guards. 2 people inside. We can assume Tracer is trained and ready for some kind of ruckus, so 5 on 3 doesn't sound like my kind of odds. I'm just a driver.
Yeah. Okay.
So roll the wave.
All right. So after a little bit, the battery comes back around. He's driving his Jeep, and as he comes by you, he slows down considerably and looks over at you and like, "Where you want me, man?"
Just get in a spot on the beach.
I was just on the beach, man.
You told him to come back around the front.
By the property line. On the beach.
All right, man. I was.
So that they're not really sure if you're trespassing in their yard or if you're trespassing in the other yard. They don't know whose responsibility it is to call the police on you.
Cool, man. No problem. Nobody ever stops a dude with flip-flops and a guitar case anyway. And so he just parks his Jeep, gets out, and starts walking through the yard of the house next door towards the beach.
Did he leave his keys in the car?
Maybe. Why don't you check?
No, I don't want
Now, a guy like that, I assume he has a water hose in his car.
You assume he has a water hose in his car.
Yeah, he seems like that kind of guy. I'll spend a penny for it.
What do you need a water hose for?
This is gonna be your third of 4 bennies, isn't it?
No, you gave me one earlier. I've spent 2. This will be my third of 4.
That's what he just said.
I went backwards.
I feel like I'm high.
There is a water hose in the back of his car. However, one end of the water hose is attached to what looks like a surgical hospital oxygen mask, and the other end of it is hooked up to a rather elaborate hookah.
How long is it?
At least 10 feet.
Okay. I'm going to cut the mask and the hookah off with my switchblade.
Okay.
And then I am going to siphon the gasoline into a container.
What container?
The hookah.
Roll me a... What the fuck are you doing? Roll me a luck roll. There's a chance that this Jeep has one of those cool color-coordinated gas cans
Yeah, they're
strapped to the
so
side
cool. Oh, they're so cool.
100.
Wait,
Siphon it into
is
the
that
hookah.
100 or is that 00?
No, that's 100, which is a critical fumble.
So it doesn't have the thing, so I'm putting it straight in the hookah.
You dropped the hookah.
You splash gasoline all over the ground on yourself.
That was to find something. That wasn't siphoning gas, was it?
Damn it, I hate it when he gets me on tech notes.
Yeah, he's good at that. Especially when he's doing some batshit shit that we cannot figure out what the fuck he's trying to get at.
Yeah, the hookah looks like it will hold maybe a pint. 2 pints of gasoline.
That's all we need.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was trying to strand the poor guy.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make him all top cocktail.
So, what do I need to roll to siphon? Nothing?
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing you can do.
So I've siphoned the gas into the hookah, and from there, yank the hose out, throw the hose back in the back of the Jeep. Battery.
Yeah, man, what's going on? I'm towards the back of the house, man. They got these beautiful freaking... Like the whole house, back of the house is like just window, man. So you can look out from in there on your cool white sofa and see the charming waves. It's awesome, man. I'd love to be in that house.
We got a bit of a stalemate here. It's time to break it up. Come get your Jeep set up at a good point. Put the M60 up. You have a tripod for it, right?
No, man, I just carry it, you know.
Well, your Jeep has the roll cage. You can set up, use that kind of as a makeshift tripod.
Oh, dude, stay in your lane, bro. You tell me what you want to shoot at, I'll decide how I do it.
Just set up a point. I want the kill box, the front yard of that house.
All right, man, so let me get this straight. I drove down to the Jeep, walked to the back of the house. You told me to come out from the back of the house, drive my Jeep back up to the street so that I could walk to the back of the house to get a call from you to say, come up to the front of the house in my Jeep and get set up.
Yes.
Cool. I'm glad I got the glass window intel for you. And he starts heading back up. And even though he said it comically, not a trace of resentment in his voice.
He's just enjoying the summer day.
Just the way it's happening, man. Sometimes
Cool.
it goes down this way and sometimes it goes down that way, but it always goes down, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Tubular.
So,
You want to fill me in on what
30
you do?
minutes later, here he comes, squeezing through some of the branches of this really thick hedge. And just slides right through. His little mesh shirt catches on one of the limbs for a second. And he doesn't even reach back to do it. He just kind of shrugs his shoulders and it falls free and he keeps going. It's like...
So rolling. Slides in.
Because when the boss says jump, I say, I'll be sliding right over.
We're going to blow up the limo.
With the guy in it.
Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be at the back. But once the limo catches fire, they'll evacuate the woman. We can get to Tracer. After we've shot all the dudes.
Okay. It seems a bit extreme.
Extreme problems require extreme solutions.
Is waiting an extreme problem?
Yes, I'd rather be driving.
You roll me a notice roll. You, without a roll, notice that the battery has made it to his Jeep.
I
And
rolled a 5.
has opened up his guitar case. And he's looking around up and down the street. Shrugs his shoulders, lowers his sunglasses one more time, and brings this massive thing up and slaps him so that it is laying across the black naga-hide back bench seat.
I rolled a 5.
5. While he's talking, you just got visual confirmation that it is indeed Tracer in the house. Passed by another window, or when she came out to pick up the tray, the door was open, you saw in there the spitting image of the picture
Right.
that was given to you in your mission briefing.
Look, man, we don't have to hurt anybody. We know where he is. He's not in danger. All we gotta do is wait for her to leave. We can contact 0 Point, let him know where he is, and if he wants to send an extraction team to make him come back, he can, but our job was to find him. We just found him. He's right there. It's like waving his junk out the window.
Well, we've been waiting a long time, and I figure there's probably some sort of action we were supposed to be getting to here.
I doubt it involved a fucking Uzi. Whatever they are. So we can either contact 0 Point, see if he wants us to confront him, or wait for her to leave and confront him.
Roll to persuade.
Yeah, both of you give me a stealth roll and -2.
5.
That's with the -2?
Yeah.
A 5. With the -2.
Okay.
Roll to persuade.
You can't make me roll.
All right, then I light the hookah. Do you want to roll to persuade, or do you want me to light the hookah?
Oh my god.
So you guys are having this
A
argument.
4.
You're saying, like, there's nothing here to do. And he's like, we got to do something. And you're like, well, what? And he's like, we were told to get Tracer. He's in there. Let's fucking get Tracer. And you're like, we're going to make a big scene. When all of a sudden you're... and Battery looks at him and says, right? Right? And the freaking railing along the front of the house is just smattered on one side. Smattered, by the way, is a word.
It is.
Smattered all over the place. The dude in the front dives for cover. The guy in the limousine busts out, throwing a cigarette on the ground, and is reaching for a gun.
You roll to persuade.
You should give Battery better instructions.
I got what I wanted.
All right. So, right now, Foxtail,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know that's what you were looking for. What is it?
a queen.
The camera won't outfocus in on it, so don't bother with that.
An ace for Grid Runner. Battery,
No, the second for Grid Runner.
a second one for Grid Runner.
2.
There's a 2.
Price is high or low?
Hi.
Battery gets a 4. Cartel enforcer limo driver gets a 9. Cartel enforcer on the front porch also gets an ace. Cartel enforcer at the back of the house gets a king, a 10, I'm sorry. Cartel enforcer somewhere on the side of the house gets an 8. Tracer somewhere in the house gets a jack. Would anybody like to use a penny to change their card?
No.
Red Runner, you taking the ace? Okay. I think these guys are good. So, you're up.
Isn't it the one with the diamond first?
Reverse alphabetical order.
You knowing the rules and
I
shit.
listened once.
So, you, Grid Runner, Battery, Limo Guy, dude on the front porch first. He's gonna pull up his Uzi and he's gonna let out a burst at Battery. And let me put up his stats real quick.
It's a good thing this is a one-shot, because we're about to fuck this whole storyline. Oh, can't come back. Get kicked out of Street Wolves. Battery's
All right,
dead.
So,
Ooh, I hope I die.
you hope you die?
I rarely ever get to, well, in these games get to die. In D&D, I die all the time. This continuity.
Okay, he just popped off a couple rounds at Battery, and you see rounds go pink, pink, pink up the side of the Jeep. And based on that trajectory, pretty sure Battery's about to get one in the gut. And then the last 2 bullets go and put holes through his mesh tank top. Maybe a small little trickle of blood that grazes his spine. And he's like, woohoo! He lets out what can only be described as stoner beach guy rebel yell. All right, that was him. Makes it your turn.
I'm going to light the hookah and throw it under the limo.
Okay.
Where I surmise the fuel tank would be.
Fair enough. So we're going to do that as it's just an agility roll. I think. Okay. I'll let you choose agility or strength.
Agility. Make sure I had a D8 here, not a D10.
Make sure you get the big Benny. Was it 2 ones?
No.
Damn it.
Two threes.
So you toss a hookah, it goes rolling around. The little rag with the flame on it outside of it is burning, and the rag is getting soaked, and it rolls right up underneath the limo. But it's got too much force on it. It rolls past the limo, pops up onto the grass, and lands in the big hedge wall that's surrounding it.
Even better.
Blows a pretty big hole in the hedge. There's some flames going on there, but this is a well manicured and watered lawn. It doesn't look like, fire is going to be sustained in this area, but you can walk right through the hedge now if you want.
It's true. Entryway has been made. Good job.
Okay.
That makes it your turn, Foxtail.
I am going to fire on the guy from the limo.
Okay. So give me a shooting roll.
Shooting is a D8. A 5.
Okay, that's a hit. So roll your damage. I believe it's 2d6 with
7 total. Or is it both added together? Yeah, 7 points of damage. Oh, but I have that thing that I can pop 2 shots. Pop. So I'm going to take my second shot at him. 8, which exploded. 7, so 15.
on the to hit.
On the second hit to hit.
Okay.
For 6 more points.
So the first one was how many points? 7.
7.
And the second one was 6.
Yeah, but since I had 2 raises on that to hit,
You get an extra damage dice.
so 6 plus 1, 7, so a total of 14.
You might get 2 extra damage dice. You say you had 2 raises?
Yes.
And look, tell me what happens is you hit this guy's center mass and he crumbles to the ground.
Well, he starts to crumble to the ground, but in trying to, save himself, he grabs the door and the frame and kind of falls back and actually ends up putting it back into drive, and the limo just starts cruising and just plows into something.
So the dude falls back into the limo, dead. Knocks the limo out of park, and it moves forward. As it moves forward, you get a better view of this wondrous hole that you put in to the hedge.
Into the hedge.
The edges of the hedge are still smoldering. There's some flames there, but nothing is dry enough to really go up. And it moves forward, and it probably has to go about 20 or 30 yards because parking on the street's not a big thing in this area before it finally hits a 1982 Toyota 4Runner with a light bar across the top,
Nice.
and a personalized license plate on the back that says McFly.
Oh no!
You just fucked up history,
I
man.
just fucked up history. Damn it. Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay, that makes it Tracer's turn.
We can get rid of
One dead dude.
one dead guy.
Okay. Tracer's taking his turn.
Here.
That makes it Porch guy.
Porch guy.
No. That makes it side yard guy. First. He comes around with his movement, sees the Jeep and the M60, and he sees the limo going and the big explosion there, and he's about at a loss to do, but his training kicks in. He sees one handgun, one person currently unarmed, and a freaking M60 with a 100-round drum feeding a chain of bullets into this thing. He's going
for the handgun, right?
He's going for battery. He is going for battery.
I'm gonna feel really sad if battery dies.
Alright, so that is just a hit. Damage is 4, which is less. Battery is matrixing this shit, So he's rolling with his big gun and kind of grooving a little bit, and bullets is being passed and going right where he was just at. So mechanically, for those of you who may have forgotten, after you roll and you get a hit on a ranged weapon, then you roll your damage, and then your damage has to exceed the toughness
Right.
of the other player. And in both cases, their damage rolls failed to exceed His
So-
toughness.
Kevlar mesh tank top.
Kevlar mesh tank top, sure. Yeah. It's a brilliant idea. We got to get to R&D with that now.
Right now.
All right, so that makes it then front porch guy who had scrambled for cover because the whole thing had just blasted apart with sound effects.
Yeah.
He pops up over the railing on the other side of the porch, and he's going to take a fire at battery. That's the biggest threat. That is a hit. And you see a bullet blast into Battery's shoulder. Battery is now shaken. Has not taken a wound yet, but that knocked him for a bit of a loop. Probably a grazing hit, but
Right.
which then makes it
Domingo.
Lady Domingo's turn. She takes her turn. And that is the round.
This is the part that is both the coolest and scariest. Like, that it changes. So, you can't be too set in your thing. But also, it's scary because it's like, you could end up anywhere.
So,
Like that.
Foxtail gets a 5. Grid Runner gets a Jack and a 10. Battery gets a King. Limidude is dead. Porch guy gets a Joker.
Which gives him a Benny, yeah? It gives you a Benny to use collectively.
And he can decide when he wants to go in the round.
Gotcha.
She could spend the Benny and take that card back from him, right?
Why would I get to take it back?
You get to make him redraw if you want.
I believe you're right, but I've seen it played a little different before,
I
so
thought
I
it was
want
for
to
me to
double
read it.
check this right now. Because it's just too critical a point to just go, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, that seems a little OP. I can just be like, nah, bro, fuck you.
You only get 3.
Yeah, I get that, but... So... you got your wish, though. I mean, got anarchy happening on a suburban street. Big action.
I didn't think he would call my bluff this close to 8 o'clock, but here we
He
are.
said, fuck it, we're gonna do it. You wanted to do it. That's what you get. Fuck around and find out.
I mean, we got the M16.
For now.
Good God. All right. I'm not going to look it for it any longer. I reserve
not
the
gonna
right
do
to
it.
change this. Okay.
I'm not gonna do it until you have a clear, because that's a big piece and I'd rather not.
All right. So that was porch guy.
Porch.
I got 2 yard guys. A 2. And a 9. Lady Domingo gets a king. And Tracer gets a joker. So, anybody want to spin bennies?
No.
I don't have any to spend. It's all on you.
All right. This guy's gonna go first. This is Porch Guy, and he's gonna shoot his Uzi again at Battery. That is a hit. For 6, his toughness is 6. So I think you have to beat
You have
the
to,
toughness.
to beat it.
So again, nothing gets through.
I imagine he's just dancing to the music in his Jeep and just
There's
like,
a little trickle of blood coming from his shoulder, a little trickle of blood coming from his side. But mostly he's just waltzing with his M60.
nice. Tracer?
Tracer and Lady Domingo go. You don't know what they've done, but they've done something. Which makes it Cool Dude's turn. Battery is gonna shoot at the dude on the porch. Gonna just level the porch some more. That's a hit.
Was battery one of the players we could have picked?
He wasn't in the Pregens.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Should have picked him. Big ass gun.
Are you sure?
I thought I saw something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so battery just grooving with his M60. In fact, you could tell he just felt a little uncomfortable about your suggestion. And he just grabs up the whole weight of this M60, breaks it across the front, and you just see a line of bullets right over Porch Guy, and he falls back into the wall and the window of the house, crashing the window, and he falls into the house, and you see just his legs sticking out, and Porch Guy is dead.
Porch guy.
Then that makes it Grid Runner's turn. There are two guys in the yard that have come from opposite sides of the house. They're visible now. They're both taking shots.
I am going to run to one side of the Jeep, using the Jeep as cover from one of the guys, and pop a shot off at the other guy.
Okay. One or two?
One.
Guy number one or guy number two?
Whichever one I'm not
Okay.
well covered away from.
Yeah. So, shooting skill.
You trying to read through your sunglasses is so funny.
A 1 and a 3.
Want to spin a penny?
Oh.
Nope. But I should have had that, Benny, because I forgot marksman includes throwing, which would have had me passing, but I didn't remember that in the moment, so I'm a little irritated
I give
with
it to
myself
Benny.
right now.
I'll give it a Benny. Look, you didn't spin the Benny, but the hookah still went underneath the thing and blew up the hedge.
Okay.
The logo's still gone, the driver's dead. It's all a wash.
So,
No one rolled a 3. Yikes.
okay, I'll get the next one.
You will.
All right, yard guy comes around and you did battery hits. Rolls 3 for damage on 2
Jeez.
You cannot,
Battery has plot armor, apparently.
right? Yeah. So that makes it
My turn.
Foxtail's turn.
All right, I am going to shoot at yard guy number 1.
Okay.
Whoever. I'm going to take 2 shots at him. So,
And your edge lets you do that without taking a minus on the second shot. Okay, do it.
so first hit is a 7 to hit. And the second one is a 6 to hit, so they both hit. And they both get 2d6 damage. Oh, 3 for that first hit. So 8 for the second. Or no, sorry. Do you reroll 6s on damage too? So that's 8, 11 on the second. So a total of 14.
Okay, tell me about it.
So he happens to like in trying to position himself, he runs right past the big blazing hole in the hedge, and I just like level on him, and like he has this moment where he makes eye contact with me, and his eyes go wide as he realizes, and I just pop 2 shots off like bam bam right in the forehead, and he just like right in the yard.
I like that. So there was a moment when he realized he was dead before he was dead.
And I smirked a little.
And he was actually the one guy who had not yet taken a turn, so you just saved him taking a shot at somebody.
Yay!
And by somebody, of course, I mean Battery. He's taking all the tankiness from you guys.
So you're down to 7 rounds now?
Yeah, no. I have 17 total rounds. I've used 8, so I have 9.
Did you mark that earlier when you took the 2 rounds?
I know how to play games.
And that's counting the rounds that you fired way back when in the hotel parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I only fired 1 in that fight.
I fired.
All right. Next round.
6.
6 for Foxtail. A 3 and a queen for Blade Runner. Grid Runner. I don't know.
Because Blade Runner was a thing.
It was a thing. I think I watched that movie. It was with Harrison Ford, right?
I haven't ever seen it.
There was one with Harrison Ford, and they remade it recently. With
I watched both of those
Gosling.
this weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah. Well, because somebody was like recommending cyberpunk movies, and
Yeah.
they said that, and so I watched them and I enjoyed them, but it really wasn't cybery punky enough. It just didn't, to me, totally fit in what I believe that genre to be. But I'm digressing.
What was cyberpunk back in those days when that movie was made was a little bit
Good
different than
point.
now.
Good point.
Yard guy?
Huh?
Yard guy?
No.
No.
Battery got a 4, and the one remaining yard guy gets a 10.
Which looks like a king.
It does. The kings look like 10s. The queens look like 9s. It's a really fucked up deck. Lady Domingo gets a 7, and lucky 7s for the
2
newlywed.
of hearts. Maybe.
2 7s for them. So, anybody want to use a Benny?
No.
Battery wants to use a Benny and gets a 3 instead of a 4.
Oh, poor thing.
All right, that means it is going to be Grid Runner.
The king was first, right?
There was no king.
It was a 10.
We were talking about how
They look
tens look
alike.
like kings.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the queen in that case. I'll pop off 1 shot at the same one that's on the...
Yeah, there's only one left.
Is he the one on the other side of the Jeep cover?
He's the one you shot at originally.
Okay. A 1 and a 4. But I add +1 because I haven't moved. So a 5.
And the headphones only help you with driving and stuff?
The headphones would allow me to get the second card. And then quick will allow me to redraw if I had taken below a 5.
Gotcha.
Or a 5 or below.
Alright. Roll your damage. Ooh. 6, you get a roll.
Does
Seven.
floating work on damage?
Yeah, I already asked
Is
that.
that a 6-sided die?
That is
Yes.
From over here, I thought it was an 8-sided.
So you have 9 total. 11.
11.
Tell me about it. Stud.
That's where my brain went to.
So he's looking up at Battery and trying to sort of cover himself, and he is completely open from my angle. And I pop off this shot, and you almost see his mouth open as he sees the trail of the bullet headed to him. And then he hears the sound, and he drops his gun before the bullet even hits him.
Hits him center mass. And the sound of him hitting the ground is masked by the sound, the gurgly sound of an engine cranking up behind the house. And on top of his Jeep, Battery says, They just got in the boat. Oh, man, they're gonna get away.
Damn it.
Oh, we could use one of them cool wave runners.
We could. Boat chase.
And you hear the boom, and then the sound of water slapping against the hull of the boat as it cranks out of there, making you get away. And you catch a glimpse of the flowing black hair of Lady Domingo and the back of who you now know to be Tracer's head as they slip out of the little cove heading out to sea. That's where we'll stop for the night.
Damn. Was a pretty epic gunfight, though. Fucking battery over there, just like a hoss.
Dude.
Could not be killed.
My guys were rolling 2d6s worth of damage, and all they had to do was total 7.
It should be easy. There's like a lot of options for 7 on 2d6.
I think that's one thing I kind of don't like about this system, the toughness. Like, especially when we were going at it with switchblades and just going back and forth for however long. It's kind of... How tough are you to stop a bullet, though?
That was awesome. We'll get a boat chase.
Yeah, what I did do this time, kind of on PV's suggestion from the last one, was so there's 2 types of characters in here. There's wild cards and extras. You guys are wild cards. Main NPC bad guys are wild cards, and then the other ones are extras. Mm-hmm. Extras don't go through that whole wound progression. It's like you get it if they get hit,
They're down.
they're dead. As long as your damage exceeded their toughness, that's it. They're down. Which would have made more sense in that original parking lot fight for those guys to just be extras, especially since you put a gun right up to this guy's head. And
it would have made sense, but still the toughness thing is kind of...
I'll read back over it, make sure I'm
I don't think you're doing it wrong, because I've read other people complaining about it.
I think it's just like, in like D&D, you rolled a hit, you hit or miss, right? But if you hit, you're going to get your damage.
Well, in 3.5, they did have the armor.
We don't talk about 3.5.
The first rule of 3.5.
You don't talk about 3.5. But this one, you have the chance to hit or miss, and then the chance to hit or miss actually with your damage. And it's like a little unsatisfying, but when you do hit and you do damage, it feels very satisfying because it's all very attainable. Does that make sense? When you do.
When you do those things you do.
Well.
So, yeah. You guys have got time when we start back up to run and jump on some wave runners and give chase. We'll run into a chase, depending on how long it takes you to get back there, how much of a lead they got. It should be interesting to see. But I believe chat voted resoundingly for a boat chase. And the only way it doesn't happen is if
we choose to be dicks.
Wishy-washy, mealy-mouthed street wolves go, well, let's don't go inside. Let's go back to the hotel and think about it. Yeah. I only forced your hand on that with battery because the instructions
were awful.
Were so bad. He was like, but he told me to get up here and just start blasting.
He told me where to shoot. I shot. I thought it was great.
So, yeah, I wouldn't railroad like that, but great. I just thought cinematically and narratively it would be funny as shit, right? You guys over there going, whether should we go in or not? And this other dude's like,
Because you told him you wanted the hot box right in the front yard, and he was like, "Can do." That's the thing is, he took all the directions like right off the kit with no problems. He was like, "Okay, I'll just go back and forth from the beach. You want me to shoot at the yard? Okay."
But Kevin, could you? It's like a golden imagine this '80s sitcom, not sitcom, but police action adventure. or a movie, and the two main characters are talking about, are they going to make an infiltration, or are they going to wait for backup or whatever, and this other dude, and you can kind of see him in the background of the shot.
I can see it.
Just, and then the two characters, what the?
That's perfection.
So
I loved it.
That was what was going through my head when I decided I was going to have Battery do that.
I loved it.
Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. A lot of fun tonight. You voted for a boat chase, and unless pure cowardice overtakes people, we will have a boat chase when we come back next week. Thanks a lot for joining. I'm Steve. You can find me on Twitter at RickStevensPI.
I'm Emily. You can find me at Cthulhu's_watch.
I'm John, and remember to wipe with wet wipes before you have any intimate moments.